When you paint, all you're ever painting is light. If there's no light, well, we don't see anything, do we? It's so obvious, of course, in one way, but as a painter, you realize all we're really painting is how light hits things. That's it. How the light hits the objects we're looking at, the way it carves around objects, the way light is reflected and absorbed. If we have a still life, for example, lit from several light sources, it flattens everything out, kills the sense of drama and form. But with just one light source, we have a strong, dramatic story about light. And if we shift the light to the other side of the same still life, a very different, dramatic story. Before electricity, pretty much every painting done indoors was painted from a single light source, a north light window, unchanging for hours, like these two paintings by Johannes Vermeer and Andrea de Sarto. What that single light source did for the still life and for the portraits, the sun does the same for landscape. It creates the big value shapes for strong, design-driven paintings. Here's what I chose to paint this month. Early morning light coming through a gap in the curtains hitting our dining room table. No setup, no adjustments. I just took a photo of that dramatic light. And then I wanted to come in on the objects on the table, so it was a little bit more like a still life than an interior. One thing fundamental about using photographs like this is the camera does not have the ability to see the range of values that our eyes do. So looking at this, you wouldn't see the darks this dark, and the lights obviously wouldn't be bleached out. But I do like the drama of it, and so I painted it like this. So I'll show you how. This is Ian Roberts and Mastering Composition. This is a 16 by 20 oil on canvas. Now the first thing you'll notice is how dark the underpainting is, and I've painted that and let it dry. So what I'm doing now is I'm just taking each color, like right down there in the dark, right down by the table, and then the color for the tabletop, just modulating really that basic value that I've already got for the whole thing. But look here, I'm just scrubbing it down into the underpainting and leaving it. The whole bottom part's still the underpainting. Then when we get to the newspapers, they're much lighter than the tabletop, but it has to be something that's sort of balanced so that when we put the lights in, it's really going to pop the sense of sunlight also on the newspapers. Of everything here, I think the newspapers were the hardest in terms of getting to look, representational, because in the photograph you realize it's a stack of newspapers. You don't necessarily, when you paint it, you've got to craft that and make sure it's not getting too complicated. The iPhone, just a simple sort of pale square, same value pretty much as the newspapers, but it's very simple. I mean, I'm just getting that shape in, I'm not overpainting it. You'll see I'll get a couple of things in there for a dark and a light. Now there's the black screen of it, and again, very, very simple for now. I'm painting all the darks in first, just getting that whole thing organized before adding any light. So I'm just modulating in that dark range, so the shadow side of the cup, in that dark range, you can see all the value masses kind of holding together there. There's a transition as we start to go round. Then it gets a little darker back there and around in the shadow at the bottom of the cup. But I'm just sort of working with all these different pieces. Now there's that reflected light back up into it. Same value, just warmer. Then I realize, well, that needs to be darker to really sort of get that sense of the shadow. Then I'm sort of crafting this is the background area behind the chest of drawers. So it's just, that's almost black paint, I think, as I remember it. And then there's a bit of reflected light on the iPhone and the first hit of light, the background, but the first hit of light. And then look at this one where you see how orange both sides of that piece of light is. So here you can see I'm pretty much taking almost pure orange and a little bit of alizarin and getting that sense of light in on both sides. It's a lot of chroma right there, and then just a little bit underneath to make sure that we're getting the sense that it's a lip. And then also one of the things I kept doing was carving kind of square shapes into the newspaper to make sure that we were seeing it as newspapers. It wasn't just sort of getting too blobby. Now there's the transition between dark and light, and there's the first hit of light on the cup. And you can see like, whoa, okay, that's light. And then the next piece, I'm still sort of getting that transition value, just pushing it around, and then there's where the light is really hitting. Full blast. So now you see like, whoa, now that really is going to start to look like the sun's, or well, yes, the sun's hitting it. And you can see that I'm just painting it shape by shape. I'm just painting the lit side and the dark side, and then crafting that edge so that it moves around the form, right? Because the light hits it, and on a surface like that, it's just carving around the form. Again, a simple shape for the lit side of the cup on the inside, and all of a sudden, oh, look at that. There's the cup. I mean, I mess around a little bit with the ellipse so that it works, but basically it's just a simple shape for that. And so you've got the lit side, the dark side, and the object pops out of the dark. That's just getting the lip around that side, and there's the reflection in making sure it's coming right underneath the reflection on the iPhone pad, you know, the surface of it like there. And then look at the way this feels like light. Like, whoa, yes, that looks like hit because it's warm and how light it is against the shadow shapes. It really comes across as sunlight, doesn't it? I mean, whoa, that's really strong. And then this one here, I sort of painted it without enough chroma, and I had to go back in there with heavier paint and kind of fix it up so it was a little bit more intense. And then I had to fix the shape anyway. See, the whole thing is too narrow, right? The whole then reflections into the table. It's not as intense as the color above it, but you just sort of directly underneath it. And then I'm just softening that edge as it is in the on the lit side of the actual cup. I'm softening that edge. Now look at this. This is just sort of as light. It's still underpainting. That's all underpainting there. And just as light as I can hold the brush, I'm just sort of dragging the brush in to get that sense of the bit of reflection that we're seeing in the photo. And then I'm just carving that reflection and making it disappear into the tabletop color. And then is the reflected light bouncing off the cup onto the edge of the newspaper. And then here I'm having to craft a few places to make sure that we're holding on to the shape of these newspapers so that they don't just turn into blobs. I'm having to get those folds and so on. This is just black paint. I mean, the newspapers are pretty much just black and white. And there I'm doing the same thing. Those reflections, just as light as you can hold the brush against that underpainting. That's all just underpainting. There's nothing else there. Just dragging it into there, and it's done. I don't go back and do anything to that. And then now I go, again, this idea of really dark paint, just getting those folds in there to make sure that I've got, before I start putting the light in, make sure I've got all the shadows working. And then I realized the shadow on the cup wasn't dark enough. So I'm putting some of that reflected light back way over on the left-hand side, and I've got too much of it, and then I put that dark back in. And then there's the line for the bottom edge as it's sitting on the table to sort of cement it to the ground. And then there where I'm starting the light on the newspaper. Now, this is just yellow ochre and white, but you'll see that what happens is as I put this in, it sort of starts to look a bit, what it looked to me anyway, like a bit like a fish. And it started to pull away and feel like it was like sitting, I don't know, 6 inches above the painting, as opposed, see how it's starting to look like a fish? And then I spent, quite a while softening the edges of that thing to integrate it back. That was the hardest part of the whole painting. See, I'm sort of getting that edge as it curves around the fold of the newspaper, some of those places where the light's bouncing back in, having to then recraft how the shadows of the folded newspaper is going. But you see what I'm trying to do now is soften the edges. I still want it to look like sunshine, but I want to soften the edges and get rid of that sort of fish shape so that I've got a sense of it working. And there you can see I'm continuing to soften, in this case, the upper edge there, just again to make sure we're not seeing that shape jump away from it. And there I'm sort of creating that square photograph shape to match the squareness of the newspaper to make sure we're seeing what it is. Then I've got a hit of light again over on the right-hand side close to the cup, which is where I want you to go. And then crafting the layers of the newspaper again. The newspapers were the hardest part by a long shot. And then there's getting that same photograph on the lit side, sort of to correspond to the one on the shadow side. And there's the finished painting. And you can see by putting in that underpainting, because it is showing through in a lot of places in this painting, it just keeps all the shadowed side, everything, sort of integrated into the darks, Because if I were just sort of against a white canvas painting this one and the next one, it would probably start to shift too light to really get this sense of the light popping. But you can see that by having the darks, the way you get the light to pop is to make sure that you've got strong dark values behind it. As always, I hope you found that helpful. I'll see you next month, Tuesday, April 8th. Until then, my very best wishes for a month filled with creative and artistic expression. All the very best, and bye for now.